Happy New Year to everybody. It is Monday, December 30th. I'm back at my Florida home here. Got back from Cleveland, where I saw the Miami Dolphins stay alive. It helped that Cincinnati beat Denver, on Saturday night, whatever. But we're here at the best football show. I am Brian Baldinger. You can find me all over social media on all the platforms at Baldy NFL. You can download this podcast wherever you get your podcast. You can download your free Odyssey app right here. Like it, subscribe to it. Let's get to it because Week 17 is almost in the books. One more game tonight, Detroit and San Francisco. But let's get to it because yesterday in South Philly, all right, at Lincoln Financial Field, the Eagles put a big number up on the Cowboys. And really, there's a lot of stories in this game. Saquon Barkley went over 2,000 yards. All right, one of, I think, 8 or 9 running backs in the history to ever do it. They pulled him out of the game when he got to 2,005 yards. He ran 31 times for 167 yards, but 18 of those were in the second half, where literally they just gave it to him to get to 2,000. Play after play, 18 carries, 127 yards. And I'm kind of starting there because Kenny Pickett, made his first start for the Eagles, hadn't started a game since, whenever they benched him in Pittsburgh last year. It's been a long drought. He played last week against Washington, but for the most part, this was his first start. And he was good, really good. But what jumped out at me after really studying this game hard is how much better the Eagles are in every category than the Cowboys. And remember, they were going back and forth, division winners. The Cowboys, prior to this year, had won 12 games in a row, or 12 games a year for 3 straight years in a row. And it was, does the Eagles win the division? Do the Cowboys win the division? And this year, obviously, the Cowboys are out. But what jumped out is just how much better the Eagles are than the Cowboys. And it's not just Saquon. It's not just AJ or Devontae, who had big games yesterday. They went with a backup quarterback making his first start in over a year because they're so much better in the trenches. Micah Parsons was erased in this game. They had a game plan for Micah. First of all, he's getting blocked when he is getting blocked one-on-one on the edges by Lane Johnson, who in my mind is the best right tackle in football, and Jordan Mailata, who's in that conversation to be as good as anybody at left tackle. And inside, Mekhi Becton has been unbelievable. His power, his ability to play right guard, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, they're just so much better than the Cowboys. And then defensively, they're just a much better team. Much better team. Zach Bond, Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Darius Slade, they're just better. Way better. Much better roster. And you just go back to last offseason when the Cowboys did not participate in free agency. And people asked Jerry Jones, what are you doing? He said he liked his roster. Well, yesterday was an example of a team that improved their roster tremendously versus a team that thought that they had everything, all the answers. And the Eagles went out and got Zach Bond, and they got Mekhi Becton. They used to go through and they drafted Quinyon, and, they drafted Cooper DeJean. Their roster is so much better than the Cowboys. Younger talent, better talent. And so the question going into Week 18 when the Eagles play the Giants is, should Saquon go for Eric Dickerson's record that he set in 1984, 2,105 yards? He's exactly 100 yards short. And there's not a question in my mind, especially after watching Jonathan Taylor go for 127 yesterday against the Giants. There's not a question in my mind that Saquon could easily break the record. But I don't think the Eagles are going to do it. Because, honestly, the only thing that's important to the Eagles right now is winning a Super Bowl. And I think Saquon, and I talked to Saquon last week before the Washington game, and I said, 2,000, Dickerson's record, would you like it? He said, absolutely, he would like it. But this is about, they had the early bye this year. In fact, the Eagles bye, I want to just double check this. I think it was after week 4. They had gotten beat by Tampa on September 29th. They were 2-2 and they were going nowhere. They had the bye, and then they had played basically 13 straight or 12 straight games in a row, 12 straight weeks in a row. So they played the early bye. I think Lane Johnson, Mekhi Becton, Jalen Carr. I don't think the Eagles are going to play anybody. I think they're not going to be the number one seed. That will get decided next week between Minnesota and Detroit, perhaps. So they're going to have to, they're going to be the number 2 or whatever seed. It doesn't matter to them. They're going to get a home playoff game, but they're going to, eventually have to travel if they keep winning. The Eagles are going to sit their players, including Saquon. I don't think that Saquon's going to get the record because I don't think he's going to play. Lane Johnson deserves, Mekhi, Jordan Mailata, these guys deserve to sit and rest and take a week off and get ready for the playoffs, the wild card round. And I think that's what they're going to do. So that's that. Jayden Daniels is a bona fide star. Yesterday, Jayden Daniels ran. It's unbelievable what he did yesterday. He took this team in a 24-24 game. He took them 12 plays, 75 yards, and threw the winning 2-yard touchdown pass to Zach Ertz. The Commanders didn't have a penalty. They didn't have a negative play. When protection broke down, and it broke down, right guard got beat, Grady Jarrett's chasing. Complete bust on one assignment. Here comes Matt Judon free. Jayden Daniels escaped every single pressure. He ran 7 times for 42 yards on the game-winning drive. He was electric. And he didn't slide once. He was going hell-bent for leather. Head first. Wasn't sliding, wasn't protecting himself. Ran for first downs. I think he ran for 3 first downs on that drive. And then completed a bunch of third down throws, especially to Zach Ertz and the game winner to Zach Ertz to win the game and to basically go to the playoffs. Jayden Daniels was a star. 12 plays, 75 yards. Overtime drive was amazing. He ran for 16 times for 127 yards. They literally couldn't get – if it was flag football, they couldn't rip the flag off him yesterday. Atlanta chased him. They harassed him. They blitzed him. The guy is just straight poise. He is unflappable. In fact, when he threw the winning touchdown pass to Zach Ertz to get to their 11th win, the place is going crazy, right? Everybody's jumping on Zach Ertz. He's getting picked up. He's getting hoisted. And there's Jayden Daniels, just calm. Doesn't even really celebrate. I'm sure he's happy. But he's not fist pumping. He's like, this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to end the magic that has been created between Jayden and Cliff Kingsbury is a marriage made in heaven. The play calling, the design, the winning touchdown to Zach Ertz off motion, the use of Chris Rodriguez was their 4th running back in certain key spots. It's really something to watch. I was in Cleveland yesterday, and I think it caught a lot of people by surprise, but Tyler Huntley started for Tua Tagovailoa in a game where they had to win. Now, they got help on Saturday. When Cincinnati beat Denver, and Joe Burrow was electric. And, Bo Nix played very, very well, but with Denver losing that game, Miami was in play, along with Cincinnati. So Miami's path to the playoffs was just this yesterday. They needed a Denver loss. They got it. They needed a Colts loss either yesterday against the Giants or in the last week of the season. They got it. So they're very much alive. They need Denver to lose to Kansas City and a Miami win against the Jets on Sunday at 4:25 at MetLife Stadium. The Dolphins are going to the playoffs. So what's interesting to me is Tua gets scratched. I think he was scratched either late Friday or early Saturday morning. Scratched. Now, he was there. He was on the sideline. He was helping. The Miami Dolphins, with Skylar Thompson or Tyler Huntley, in the 4 combined games that they played, they were 1-3. 1-3 in those games. They averaged 10 points a game. So it wasn't looking good, especially at halftime when I think it was 6-3 at halftime in favor of the Dolphins. But two things happened. Snoop Tyler Huntley played great. He played great. I think he missed 6 passes the whole day. He ran for a touchdown and threw for a touchdown. He threw the ball to Tyreek Hill 9 times, caught all 9 passes. And a number of them were play-action passes on timing, and he delivered the ball well. And the biggest smile in Cleveland yesterday was Snoop Huntley's smile. Because remember, when you think about what happened to Snoop, he was in Cleveland. The irony yesterday was he was in Cleveland battling Dorian Thompson-Robinson for the third quarterback spot behind, Watson and Jameis Winston. And they gave the job to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So he gets picked up on September 17th, after Tua goes out in a concussion against Buffalo on that first Thursday night game of the year. So Skylar Thompson goes in the next week, doesn't play well. Here comes Snoop. He didn't even know the offense. He had no familiarity with anybody. He didn't play well. Now, 3 months later, he's played well. And so what I'm saying is he held down the fort yesterday. I don't know what Tua's situation with his hip is. It's the same hip that he injured at Alabama, but he says it's in a different spot. It's a different type of injury. But it was enough it caught a lot of people in the organization off guard. I talked to a bunch of people in Miami yesterday. So who knows? If Tua can't go on Sunday against the Jets, I feel better about the Dolphins winning the game the way Snoop played. So that's that. Let's get to Joe Burrow. We all watched it on Saturday. The 3 touchdown passes to T. Higgins. I mean, he was 42 touchdown passes on the year for Joe Burrow. They finally get to 8-8. They've been playing they've been trying to get their head above water all season. They've scored 38 points and lost this year. That first game, week 5, to the Ravens. Had a chance to win games at the end with, a McPherson kick. They couldn't make the kick. Couldn't get the snap. They lost every way you could lose. Privately, just me now, I want Cincinnati in the playoffs. I want Joe Burrow in the playoffs. If Cincinnati gets in, and let's just say Kansas City's the number 1 seed. Let's say Buffalo's the number 2 seed. And Buffalo and Cincinnati play. Does anybody want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs? I mean, look, Jamar Chase still had a good game, but Patrick Surtain on the other side was a big reason why he didn't get in the end zone. They had a game plan. And so T. Higgins took over. Then he gets the hat trick. Phenomenal game. Joe Burrow, 42 touchdown passes now. Unbelievable season. Unbelievable season. And has started now 16 games. That was a big thing. I've coming off an injury last year. The wrist injury, the calf injury. 16 games healthy. Phenomenal. Sacked 7 times by Denver. Zach Allen had 3.5 of the sacks. Sacked. Hit, chased, just kept firing. One good throw after another. Hit Yosevich for, a touchdown. T for 3 of them. It was something to see. Really something to see for Joe Burrow. So, anyways, they got Pittsburgh here. We'll talk about that as the week goes on. But that's kind of what I saw. I saw elite play from Burrow and a big step up from Snoop. And Jayden is just rock solid. And I got to tell you, because of Jayden Daniels, Washington in the playoffs is going to be a dangerous team. They're just going to be dangerous because that quarterback, I know he threw 1 interception yesterday to Caden Ellis, I think, but he doesn't make many mistakes. So anyways, that's been the best football show. This is a lot of fun to do. We're going to come at you. I know it's New Year's tomorrow, but we're going to be here every day. We've got football to talk about. We've got college football playoffs taking place this week. Big games, 4 big games taking place. We've got play-in games, teams trying to get to the playoffs. We got great football coming up at you. I want to talk about it all week long. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow on New Year's Eve.